Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about the new Disney live-action versions of the animated films and what they mean for the genre of film and what they mean for America and what they mean for moviegoers. All right, so I just saw Lion King 2019, so that's the live-action version of the animated film, and I absolutely loved it. It was really a transformative movie-going experience for me, and the reason why is that movie's about 25 years old now, and when I saw that film for the first time, my wife was pregnant with my oldest son, and he was in her belly, right? And then when I saw it again, literally last night, it was a very different experience for me. So my son, he lives in a completely different state. He's doing really well in the business world. I miss him very much. But it's really, he is kind of in another place each time, right? But when I watched Lion King, the animated movie 25 years ago, I was temporally proximate to my birth. And then when I watched this movie again yesterday, I was temporally proximate to my death, right? So more temporally proximate in both cases, right? So, and that is fundamentally different, right? The first time I watched it, I immediately saw, I really sympathized with the character of Simba, his desire to have adventure, and his wanting to prove himself and show what he could accomplish, to take risks, all this kind of things, right? But when I saw it again yesterday, I really sympathized with Mufasa, and somebody who's achieved some major things, and now is looking at what kind of legacy am I going to leave? What is the relationship with the people, with my children? What is the relationship with my wife? What is the relationship with my community, right? For Mufasa, of course, that was his pride, right? Even his brother Scar, right? Like how Mufasa interacted with his brother Scar. So that's my point, right? So this is, this movie is incredible. Like, there are very few movies in the world like this, right? So this is a movie, The Lion King, right? And I'm just saying The Lion King. I'm not even going to say which year. But The Lion King is now available in animated and available in live action, right? And when someone goes to encounter either one of those movies, it's a very different experience, because either they're, 9 chances out of 10, they're going to be knowledgeable that, that they're going to be knowledgeable that this exists in multiple formats, right? And so going forward, neither one of those movies, the animated or the live action, is ever going to be experienced the same way again. So, and it really speaks volumes to what's happening with these films, right? So one, Disney isn't doing this with all their films. Like Race to Witch Mountain is not going to get an animated version, right? Like, like the one with The Rock, even though I understand that was a remake. Basically, they are selecting films, and they're saying these films will exist in an animated form and they'll exist in a live action form. And the moment that happens, the moment Disney, a huge multinational that can bring hundreds of millions of dollars to bear on the creation of these movies, they are creating a new type of movie, like this movie that exists in a layered experience, right? You're gonna experience it at the animated level, and at some point you'll experience it in the live action, or you won't, right? And at that point, you have a partial experience of that film, because that film doesn't just exist any longer in the animated; it also exists in the live action. And so I'm convinced that these are truly a new form of cinema, right? And they are really encountered in an incredibly different way, right? For some of the viewers, they will encounter them at different times of their lives, right? The other thing that I think that this does is it brings to viewers a new type of viewing, right? And in my opinion, if you are a major multinational corporation and you are doing, and right now only Disney is doing this, no one No one else even has the ability to do this, right? Disney has succeeded at a level where they are creating their own movie genre, right? These multi-layered movie experiences where you're experiencing the same film in different formats, right? It's really incredible, right? It's really incredible. But if you are doing that, if you're a multinational and you're bringing this layered experience, right? One of the things that it frees the viewer from, in my opinion, I know people are I'm guarantee people will disagree, but I think it takes away the question of, is this a good movie, right? Like, a lot of people are like, debate that, right? They're like, oh, I don't know if that's such a good movie, right? But if you're saying, hey, The Lion King isn't a good movie, that says more about you than it does you saying about that film, right? These are films that Disney is saying, we are so confident in the quality of these films that we're going to bet again on them, right? And that's incredible. That is an incredible wager, right? And it allows the viewer to say, I'm no longer going to watch this movie and say, is this a good movie or is this not a good movie? I'm going to experience it knowing it is a good movie, right? And look for wisdom in it, or look for enjoyment in it, or look for joy in it, or look for puzzles in it, or look for communication vectors that I didn't notice before in it, right? It allows someone to kind of take their critical eye and place it to the side, right? And really interact with the movie in a new way, right? So I really feel that these, and by the way, I am fully on board at this point, right? So it is my strong opinion that Lion King live action is a better film than Lion King animated, and I absolutely believe the same for Aladdin. I believe that Aladdin live action is a better film than live action animated, right? And this is really, really an incredible occurrence, right? Now, one of the things it does too is right now everybody's just watching these Disney movies, and they're interacting with these Disney movies in this specific way. But the reality is, soon you're going to have a situation where other studios are going to be in a situation to do this, to take an older property and deliver it in a new format, right? And it's really going to transform cinema, right? Because these aren't just remakes. It is, and the reason why is, like, if somebody makes a movie, good perfect example of this is Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, okay? Dirty Rotten Scoundrels was made way back in the 80s with Steve Martin and I think Michael Caine, and then recently was redone with Anne Hathaway and with Rebel Wilson, right? Now that's a remake. 2 different studios, completely different actors, right? And the same story, but because it was not the same studio, and it's just a traditional remake, live action to live action, right? There isn't a compelling reason to rewatch that remake, right? Whereas not nearly as compelling as, hey, this was animated, now we're making it into live action, right? If you enjoyed the first one, you can enjoy the second one. Or let's say you don't really enjoy animated, you can enjoy this live action. Or let's say you don't enjoy the live action, you can go enjoy the animated, right? These movies have facets and they have abilities to be used in completely different ways. Only Disney is doing this right now, but this is a new vector for film. And if you're a film fan, recognizing, I actually think if you're a film fan, you should definitely start going to see these movies, regardless of your opinion of the original film, right? And the reason why is this is something special happening in the entire scope of the industry, of the movie industry. These are, these movies, Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, Lion King, super hyped about Mulan. Mulan is coming up. These are cutting a new path in movies. And it's a big, big deal, right? Because one of the other things it does is it says, okay, listen, it is incredibly difficult to be an artist. It's really, really hard, right? And a lot of people are like, just kind of shuffle off and make their lives in non-artistic venues, right? But here you can actually see that there's this situation where now the ability for artists to make money is even greater than it ever was before. That's important. Like that like if you get a successful story, it's hard to even imagine how many iterations that thing can actually enjoy at this point. And it's a help to all artists, right? This is really a change at the industry level, right? The other thing that it brings up is just the idea of the flow, right? So right now we're seeing these transformative films, these transformative Disney films, where they're coming in and they are really changing what can be done in movies forever, right? Like the idea of, okay, this movie's in animated and now it's available in live action. That's a big change, right? And there's just so many things you could do with it, right? Could you do this like 1 year after another year, right? Could you do an animated film and then do a live action film of the same thing 2 or 3 years later, at the time where normally you would do a sequel? It's possible. It's possible. These Disney films create tremendous possibility. The other thing is, what do you do with live action films that are incredibly successful to the point where you can double your wager and be very confident you're going to make your money back? Perfect example, all right? Star Wars, right? Star Wars exists as a live action movie. There is no animated version of Star Wars Episode 4, Star Wars Episode 5, Star Wars Episode 6, right? But if you told me, hey, next year we're going to release the Brahm Star Wars, I'm there, right? Like I'm absolutely there, right? If you told me we're going to do an animated movie of all, Episode 4, 5, and 6, I will pay you in advance for those tickets, right? And so, what about an animated Die Hard film, right? Like, it's pretty incredible. It really opens up a huge amount of possibilities. We really haven't even seen how deep this can go, right? We're really at the crux of it. But I'm very, very, very much convinced that Disney has truly done an incredible accomplishment with making these live-action movies move beyond a question of, oh, do I want to see this, to yes, we all want to see this, and really this is an entire new vector within the movie industry, and it opens a possibility of many, many exciting new possibilities. Animated episode 1, 4, 5, and 6 for Star Wars. Animated Die Hard. A million different ideas and different ways that all this can get processed. I really think this is worth continuing forward. I'm super psyched for the entire slate of live action Disney movies. They have my tickets bought, right, for the next 5 to 10 years on these. I'll just go see everything they make, right? And really, I'm excited to see other studios come forward and do this, right? And it's really, really exciting. That's my opinion. I'd love to hear your opinion. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.